What's going on, guys? It's Greg here today, and I'm bringing you a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 gameplay commentary, and what you'll be watching in the background is a little TAC-V action on the map Zarqwa Hydroelectric. And today what I'm going to be breaking down is based off of the minimap and my teammates' positioning, and we'll discuss how you can predict your enemies based off of that information. Let's get right into it. Alright guys, we're breaking out trusty old Photoshop so I can break this down for you, and as you can see, the first hardpoint is here denoted by the 1 you see on the map here, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you guys where we spawned in. So we spawned in around here, enemy team most likely spawned in somewhere around here, and what's going to happen is on the majority of matches, people are going to go ahead and run a route, they're going to go ahead and meet for hardpoint 1, and they're going to duke it out over hardpoint 1. But yeah, I remember there's 6 people in pubs, so generally what you're going to have is you're going to have a couple people go over to 1 from each side, and then you might have some people that are trying to run towards the middle of the map. So I'm not going to go to hardpoint 1 right away, and you can if you want, if that's the way you want to play. If you want to go contest hardpoint 1 and you want to try to go ahead and get some kills, and you want to try to play the objective right off the rip, you can go do that. But what I tried to do is I ran in through this building and out the back, and I'm going to come over this way, so that way I can make sure, is there anybody else who's trying to flank, right? Because I'll meet them here, and I'll take them in on one-on-one, and I could communicate to people, or, you know, if the enemies hear the gunshots over here, then they know someone's going to be trying to peek them through this middle lane here. So whenever I come over this way, I'm trying to see, did any of these enemies branch off? Because they could also branch off, and it could go through the building here, and they could go ahead and come this way. So you got to remember that not all of your opponents are going to be just attacking the hard point here from the front, right? So you have people coming through this middle, you have people that are going to be coming this way, they're coming this way, they're, you know, they do want to attack the front, they will. They could also branch off, go underwater, and come up. Let me get rid of some of these red arrows here. They could go ahead, cut through here, go through the water, and they could come up right here in this little spot. They could come up here. They could come out back, and they could get a flank right on your team. Easy flank, and get people who are up here on this little heady and are trying to watch the hard point, you know, watch for the enemies that are trying to breach from this way or through the window over here. So there's a lot of different ways people could play the game, and you have to be thinking of all these different scenarios, but you have to be decisive. You have to pick one way that you think these enemies are going to come through. So for me, I went ahead and I committed to this route right off the rip. And that way, if I don't see anyone here, I know, okay, well, no one's probably going to be coming out. Maybe there were a couple other teammates following me. You know, maybe they might watch this way, or they might go through that way if they decide they want to go back or something. But if I don't see anyone coming through here, could I run right through here? Yes, but maybe there's some people still lurking over on this side. And that's why I like to run the whole flank off the rip of the game, and I like to take out the enemies that are up here. Now, there is one thing that you have to be careful of, and that is the squad spawn system as well as spawn flips. So, by me running back here, I could actually cause a spawn flip, which means this is bad, especially if there's 30 seconds left on this hard point, right? So, if there's 30 seconds left on this hard point, why is that bad? Well, it's because our second hard point is going to rotate to here, where we can see the number 2. Actually, let me go ahead and, oops, we're going back a little too far, getting ahead of myself. So hardpoint 1 is going to rotate back to hardpoint 2, and then what's going to happen here is the spawns, the enemies are going to get spawns in this pocket here, right? So they're going to get the spawns for hardpoint 2, and then your team is going to be spawning somewhere, you know, somewhere else on the map, and you're going to have to fight over for hardpoint 2 control, whereas if I just run this route, let's say, right off the rip of the, rip of the match, and I get this nice flank off, kill him from behind, and then we gain the sector control here for hardpoint 1, and we still have teammates that are positioned in this area where hardpoint 2 is going to be, we'll be able to gain hardpoint 1, and then we'll be able to gain hardpoint 2, giving us a significant advantage in the match. So moving over back to the gameplay, this is exactly what you're going to see. You can see where my teammates are traveling on the map, and one of them is going to go through the mid-cut, or it seems like he might be following me, but I end up getting a pick, and now I'm going to go ahead and run through this middle area. I'm just going to take a quick peek, and you guys are just going to see that I actually end up doing something a little bit different. So I heard a guy above me, I'm going to go ahead and take him out, and I'm going to go ahead and just see what I need to do. Now, I see that my teammates ended up running the full flank, so that means I don't have to run the full flank, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut back through the middle of the map because I see that we have completely given up map control based off of where my teammates were located on the minimap, and now we got those spawns where I was talking about that I didn't want to happen. What I was hoping was going to happen is that teammates were going to hold back on that area of Hardpoint 1 where we were talking about where we had spawns for, but that's not the case. This guy ends up getting up here in his jump spot I was talking about. He takes out me with pure aim assist, as you guys could see. That was definitely not aim. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But anyways, moving on, we go ahead and take out some of the guys, and now we have to fight for this hardpoint control, and you can see we only have 8 seconds left on this hardpoint, which means the enemies right now, they have spawns for hardpoint 2 that we completely talked about. Someone came up through the water, I ended up getting him, taking him out, picking up another kill, securing a UAV for our team, and a UAV is very important because this is going to help us have a significant advantage in the early game when no one has Ghost, and we're able to see where all the enemies are on the minimap. Now what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to stay alive because I know I'm close to an Overwatch helo, which can really help me flesh out the next hardpoint. But our team ended up getting control of the hardpoint, so that means the enemies now are going to be spawning in the spots that I was telling you guys about, which is that area where the building is, and they're going to be spawning there. So now I pull back towards the hardpoint, right? And I'm going to go ahead and try to take out some of these enemies, but it looks like our team has lost control of the hardpoint, which as a result caused the enemies to spawn back near the hardpoint, and I get taken out on a 10 kill streak, which costed me my advanced UAV. So if a teammate was still sitting there holding down the hardpoint and holding down that area, they wouldn't have probably been spawning there, and I would have been able to securely pick up an advanced UAV. We have 6 seconds left, so let's go ahead and talk about what I'm going to do from here, because as you can see, I just get died as I'm trying to push out and try to flush out the map to try to gain P3 advantage, and you guys will see right now that I'm going to have to find a way to spawn in, get over to P3, and try to start getting some kills. Now, it does help that I have an Overwatch helo, but for here, let's go ahead and talk about, based off of where teammates are located, what I need to do. Alright, so based off of where our teammates are located, we can see that the majority of them were around P3, which means that whenever I went ahead and spawned in, our team was going to go ahead and try to get the enemies off of P3. And then we are going to regain control, get some hill time, and that would be how the scenario ended up playing out. But since there's 5 of my teammates in this area here at P3, there's no reason for me to go ahead and stack my body over there. So I'm going to go ahead and try to play for maybe a little bit of streaks, because after all, this is pubs, and streaks are very important to changing the tides of the battle. And even though we're pretty much winning this fight already and we're doing pretty well, I still like earning my kill streaks because, well, it's fun to earn them. It's a reward, you know? That's why I like going for them. So I spawn in over in this area, and, you know, I start coming out through here, whatever. But I see that there was someone that spawned in over here on the UAV, so I'm going to go ahead and turn around, especially because most of my teammates are over here. If 5 people can't clear out a hardpoint whenever there's a spawn flip occurring over here, then that's my team's problem. That's not my problem, okay? There are 5 bodies over there, right? There should not be 5 bodies stacking a hardpoint. That's just not likely, and it's not going to be how it plays. So if 5 people can't clear 1 point, that's not my problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lurk this area, because I saw that some of the guys were spawning in towards this back area, and they could be spawning in anywhere in this pocket. So as a result, we also know, even though we still have 40 seconds left on the current hill, we know that P4 is going to be the next point, and what do you know? I'm going to be killing the enemies that are near P4. So I'm going to break their control of this area in case they wanted to set up early. But that's most likely not the case, because this is pubs after all, and most of your enemies are not going to be this smart. So, going back to the gameplay here, you guys can see exactly what I was talking about. My attack helicopter is engaging some people over here, is pinging some people over here for me as well, and I'm going to try to take a look to see where these guys are at. And the reason for this is because, well, that's P4, right? If they get control for P4, then we're going to have to fight over P4. But as you guys can see, they ended up spawning out back, again, before the UAV ran out, behind the current hardpoint. And you guys are going to see that once I go through this current hardpoint, and I go ahead up top here because the teammate's on the hardpoint. Again, I'm not going to stack a body on the hardpoint. I'm going to try to gain a nice power position. You guys can see that I take out the enemies that spawn back there and that were making their way up to the hardpoint, and I'm picking up a 4-piece, giving me a UAV. Also, how did I know that guy was coming up the stairs? That's where claymores and proximity mines are really helpful, because if they get a hit marker or you hear them go off, you know somebody is nearby in that area, which allow me to quickly turn around and take that guy out. Now that I'm close to a streak and they got P4 control again because none of our teammates were over rotating towards the next hardpoint, again, I don't expect that because it's pubs and most people are in here doing challenges or other things, so I'm going to go ahead and make my way towards P4, but I'm not just going to blind run it, right? I'm close to an Overwatch helo, which is a great streak to help us out in gaining control, so I'm going to go ahead and earn my Overwatch helo. And now I'm getting close to my advanced UAV, and I'm going to go ahead and try to push up. I get really lucky taking this guy out off timing, and he could have easily killed me. He had the advantage in that fight, but I ended up winning it, and I take him out, I get another guy, and now I'm going to go ahead and just make sure there's no more enemies on the flank hiding or being a little bit ratty, and I'm going to go ahead and call my Overwatch helo to help us as we go ahead and take control of the point, even though it's a little bit too late because P5 is going to be our next point. But I'm not really too worried about that because, again, like I said, it's pubs. People are not really that smart about playing the objective in here. They don't really pay attention too much to the hardpoint rotations and stuff. This is not a competitive match, right? This is completely different. So I know this to my advantage, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure I kill any stragglers, which I end up picking up an advanced UAV, which I'm going to break down this kill streak in an upcoming video because I think it is the best kill streak in the entire game, and we'll go over why that is the case in that video. As we can see here, at this point, I'm just playing UAV simulator, right? I'm just looking at my minimap and rotating around the map, and once I get close to these enemies and they appear on my radar, that's whenever I start looking back at the screen and I start trying to take them out. Now, I get taken out because I got pinched by 3, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and spawn in, drop down a little munitions box because, well, I want to have a little bit extra ammo in case I end up going on a streak again while my advanced UAV is up, and I'm going to go ahead and try to take these guys out. Although TAC V is a little bit tricky, I end up not picking up that kill, and you guys are going to see that I'm trying to outplay this guy in case my teammates end up losing that gunfight. People usually tend to back out a little bit too whenever streaks start getting called in because it applies a lot of pressure on the map, and a lot of people just don't want to try to fight back against that kind of pressure. So as you guys can see, the advanced UAV goes ahead and runs out, and now I am just going to be rotating based off of where the UAV pings are at and where I saw the last pings from the advanced UAV. I end up picking up a kill here. There's another guy up top, quickly snap up to him, was able to deal some damage to flinch him off target, but I was not able to pick him up because it's a really awkward angle and it was just not a winnable fight in that case. So I go ahead and pull back, and I'm going to go ahead and reposition up here because they're spawning out back of P1 again. So now I have a good power position up here and I can play angles, and the reason I crouch a lot is because I'm trying to play cover while I don't have cover, and I'm trying to use the angle from which they're going to be looking up at me as cover. I'm out here just looking for a few more picks, trying to pick up again yet another advanced UAV. I get another Overwatch helo, which is going to help us out, especially since this thing follows you around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it follow me around, and I'm going to be near the hard point again. If teammates want to go ahead and pick up hill time, they can. I'm not going to pick up hill time because we're winning by double already, and I could see that these enemies themselves don't really care that much about the hard point, so therefore they're not really going to be getting that much of an advantage in the score on us, and that way I could play a longer match, and I could just go for kills, go for my calling card challenges that I've been working on. So that's the whole point of this. Now, if the enemies are being competitive about playing the objective, then by all means, I would go ahead and play the objective or try to stay near it even more, but there's not really a point whenever you see that both teams are not really doing much for the objective either. We're just staying comfortably in the lead, and that way we could just turn this into kind of almost a team deathmatch. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to run around based off of my advanced UAV. It's pinging people. These are all ghosted players. That's why they're showing up as a normal UAV. They get taken out. I want to make sure, okay, I'm going to run that way because they could possibly spawn back there. But for whatever reason, the game decides to spawn them at P2. I'm not sure if we just lost control of it or if it was just a really bad spawn, because the spawns in this game are horrific and it is very hard to predict them at times. So that is why UAVs and advanced UAVs are the absolute most broken kill streaks in the game, because the spawns are so horrible that you have such a significant advantage knowing where your enemies are going to be, since they're really hard to predict in this game for how just atrocious they are at flipping and constantly having other things. So there's not really a lot of map flow, which is why so many people will end up crutching a UAV or an advanced UAV to know where they're going to be coming from. But it is still somewhat predictable. It's just not as predictable as previous Call of Duties. Anyways, again, just kind of playing around here. This was an unlucky spawn. He spawns right near me and was able to take me out because I can't reload cancel, or I couldn't reload in time. And now we have P3 here again. We're P3. I'm posted up here in front of P3. I'm going to try to keep people from entering P3. Again, I'm still playing this way just because I don't want the enemies to somehow make a comeback, even though there's 51 seconds left in a match. Again, when you are on the hard point, it is going to prevent the timer from going down, so you can extend a game based off of that if you really want to. Overall, hard point matches can last a pretty long time if you're doing it right. Anyways, as you guys can see, they spawned back of P3 again. I ended up getting taken out. I was not able to get that guy, especially with all that visual clutter on my screen. It was a little bit harder to see him. And then I'm just going to try to get up top here. I guess I decided not to because I saw that they got P4, and now I know that they're back at P4, so there's no point in me to go up top. And I'm going to go ahead and try to make a break here through middle because I see there's a teammate in the building next to me here. So I'm going to go ahead and take one out, and I'm going to rotate, try to clean up the other guys. Whenever I come over here to a hard point and I try to break it, my first intention is not to just go ahead and grab the hard point. I'm going to rather use a teammate that maybe doesn't really know what's going on and they just want to go on the hard point because it's the objective. And I'm going to go ahead and take the time to clear out all the other enemies so we know it's safe, regain point control, and then play in front of the hard point so that way the enemies can't come back and retake the hard point if this was a more competitive match. Now, it wasn't. Again, both teams really didn't seem to care much about the hard point. I guess my team did more than the other team, so it was kind of a free win in that way. But at the end of the day, some of them still did want to at least try to play a little bit of hill or be near the hard point, which is why I'm still playing around it, still doing the frontline work and all things of that nature. Anyways, hopefully you guys understood this gameplay, and let me know if you guys like the format. I'll be sure to do more gameplay breakdowns in this format so you guys can better understand how to read your minimap, where your teammates are located, as well as overall game flow. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I think I went 55-7. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out. Have a great day.